Hello, it's Donna Balzer. Thanks for joining me today. It's Facebook Live, and today it's all about seeds. And I'm not talking huge package of seeds. I'm talking about saving, ordering seeds, getting yourself together. I've just been watching that Netflix show. Hey, Sean, good to see you. I've just been watching that Netflix show, Tidying Up, and it's huge. I don't know if anyone else has. It's a huge inspiration for me. So if you don't know me, I'm the author of the 3-year Gardener's Gratitude Journal, and it's getting very, very full. I've been writing so much down. And when I was watching the Tidying Up show on CBC, on Netflix, I said to myself, I could do some of these things in the garden. So that's what we're bringing you here today. I think Sean Marie is here because she's a big seed orderer. She has lots of catalogs. So share your favorites with us if you want. And I'll just go through a few that I've got. But I'm also going to look at some things that I have been testing and some things that I have been storing. So here's my storage system. If you looked at my old system, I showed it this morning, but I forgot. I forgot to take a picture of it. It was so bad. Well, after watching the Tidying Up show, I have got a new system. So let me know how you store your old seeds, what you're doing at this time of year. But first, let me show you the seeds that I have been germinating. Because if you're like me and you're tempted to order new seeds at this time of year, first you have to look through your old seeds. When you find an old pack of seeds, let me just grab one. Lettuce. I love lettuce. I'm always looking for lettuce. Here's one here. Johnny's Crispino. It is supposed to be a crisp head lettuce. And so this is one that I ordered last year, but I didn't use it all up because if you read the fine print, minimum 500 seeds. And that's the truth about some of the different seed catalogs when you look through them. Note how many seeds are included in each packet, because some of them only give 5 seeds, and some of them, like this lettuce, 500 seeds. So what I did with my lettuce, and I would recommend this to everyone because it's hard to use the whole 500 seeds, and lettuce lasts quite a long time. So I put them in a damp paper towel. Sorry, you can't quite see that here. Here we go. It's a damp paper towel. And you can see I sprinkled 10 seeds. It's all rolled up, so you can't see all 10 seeds at once. But you can see that I've sprinkled seeds on this damp paper towel. And some of those seeds, if you can take a close look, I'm not sure, some of those seeds are starting to come up. So what I do is I seed them, and I take 10 seeds. I label the packet lettuce. And then I moisten the paper towel, put the 10 seeds in, and roll it up. I like to then leave it on a warm spot on top of a fridge, on top of your seed heating mat, whatever you like to do, and then start checking those in 2 days. Believe it or not, lettuce seeds can be sprouting in 2 days. So why spend all your time going through the new seed catalogs when you've got old seeds that you need to test? Sean Marie gets the Stokes catalog, Swallowtail Garden Seeds, Chiltern's Plants of Distinction, a few favorites, not all Canadians. Sean Marie also uses paper towel to test her seeds. And there is Margot. Margot's joining us. If you don't remember, Margot just sent me a really great email. I'm going to copy parts of that and put it into my newsletter because instead of a community garden, Margot has a community chicken farm, and she has 40 chickens that she looks after with her neighbors. They share the seeds, they share the expenses, they share the work, not the seeds, sorry, the feeding. And when Margot's away, her neighbors come over and take care of it. And otherwise, she takes care of it. So good to see you back, Margot. I am excited to hear what you're doing with seeds. I was just talking about saving seeds. I'm going to talk about some new seeds too, because this is my new system. Okay, maybe I should show you my old system. My old system. My old system split up, and of course I have these lovely little packets of cardboard. They split up between what I was going to start in January and February and what I was going to start in March and what I was going to start in April. And I just had all the individual seeds into each category because I thought in January I have a lot of time and I can get this set up. Later in the summer, I'm going to not have as much time, and I'm going to want to just open up the June category and get things started. Well, this system did not work for me. And as I said, I was inspired by this tidying up show that I've been watching. And so now this year, what I have done is taken all my old seeds and I put them under A, mostly just arugula and A. B, I've got lots of broccoli. I keep ordering broccoli seeds, but I do love broccoli. And I do grow some really great broccoli. Where's my favorite? I seem to have a lot of packages of Waltham broccoli. I think that's because every time I read the catalog, I think that is an amazing sounding broccoli. But I'm not as impressed with it when I get it out in the garden. I have a lot of basil seed left. Oh, so much basil seed. Quite a bit of bean seeds. I found out I'm not a person that does dry beans, so that's a bit of a problem. But this, if you're wondering, is my favorite broccoli. This is the hybrid, Happy Rich mini hybrid broccoli. Loved that. So, still lots of, like the other seeds from Johnny's, 250 seeds came in this packet. They send you so many seeds. I know it's an American company, and I don't normally like to order from American companies because of the exchange, but I do find that Johnny's gives you tons of seeds in each package. So if you're looking for that, it's just johnnyseeds.com. So there you go. See, we have some hellos. Oh, Margot also gets the seeds from T&T, Lindenberg, both from Manitoba and Stokes. And I used to get all of those as well. I've just switched it up in the last, I've just switched up in the last few years. And the one kind of seed I've noticed had nothing under T for tomatoes. Because when you order tomato seeds, you get 5 or 7 or 10 or maybe 15. And so I actually find that I never have any leftover tomato seeds, so I'm always starting from fresh. I like that. You're doing that though, Margot. That's great. I used to always order from them too. Now what I look for are seeds that have not been treated. And so one of my favorites is William Dam seeds. It's not just that they're organic. It says right on the package, untreated seed. And if you've got untreated seed, that means you're not going to be surprised and get pink seeds in the mail, which has happened to me. And if they're pink, that means they've been treated with fungicide, and then I wouldn't want to use it in my garden. I was surprised how many kinds of corn and how many kinds of beans come that are already treated. But let's get on to the questions. I see I'm so glad we're meeting today. There's so many questions already. Amy's saying, I'm wondering if we can talk about how to prune grapevines. If not tonight, that's fine. I live in Zone 6A in Ontario, and I have Somerset grapes. Last year, well, there's many ways, Amy. People that are growing commercial vineyards, and my neighbor just made pear champagne for Christmas, and I have to say, I'm going to have to start making champagne. Now, she didn't make it herself. She just had to pick 100 pounds of fruit, and she brought it to a local winery, and they turned it into champagne, and I'm going to do that next year. But that's a different story. You're asking about grapes. Now, grapes are typically pruned really heavily in February, so we can talk about that more in February if you want, but that's on the big commercial farms. My friend Matt from Croatia does it the Croatian way. And when I traveled in Croatia and saw the grapes done that way, I was staying in a 3rd-story apartment, and the grapes had climbed all the way up from the 1st story. And then they climbed overhead and were draping down. And I thought, that's amazing. And so my husband built me an arbor, and we put some grapes up. And so this is the arbor style pruning, which is completely different than the commercial farm style. And what happens is you let them V, and you cut back everything else. And then off each of those, you let them be, and you cut everything else off. So we'll get back to that, Amy. Let's talk about it in February because it's a bit early to prune grapes in the home garden now. But meanwhile, you can tell me if you are, if you're pruning, are you growing them? And I'm going to ask you that. Are you growing them as a commercial crop? Because what that really means is they're going to be kept short, about 3 feet tall, never any taller, or over, or in a home garden, or an arbor. Arbour. It's O-U-R-O-U-R. Okay, so depending on what Amy says to me, but my opinion is that most home gardeners are going to want to grow grapes in the V system, and we can talk about that more in February. All you need is colorful ribbon, lace, anything left over from Christmas would work, and you just tie it every time you let it double, and then you let the next one double because you want 1 year of growth to be doubled so that when you get to the top, you really have very few. At the very top, you leave very few branches. And that's really interesting because that lets your grapes. So I've got, I better have a drink of water. So grapes are fun, but we're not going to prune them yet. I should have been pruning. I am growing kiwis, which is kind of unusual. I was talking to a farmer about that, and I should have done that in December, but I'm going to get to that right away. Sean Marie says the high seed compensates for the cost. I wonder which packet Sean Marie's ordering them from. A few favorites, not all Canadian. Okay, so she's saying the high seeds from Stokes and Children's. Children's is from England. So look at Sean Marie's suggestions. I used to actually order quite a few from England as well, and I really loved that. Margot Baldwin says I put a leftover packages into a Ziploc, and then I filed the Ziplocs in alphabetical order. That's even better than me, Margot. That's really organized because keeping it in a Ziploc does a couple of things, but a Ziploc holds moisture. And that's one of the troubles with seeds is that we hold moisture. You'll see I tried to put all of mine in this plastic container so that I could put the lid on, but that didn't work. So good for you, Margot. She also uses Tupperware containers, which I've tried to use, puts them in a cool room, larger packages, peas, bean, corn, and she keeps them cool. And so that is the best way to keep seeds. But some seeds like onions only last a year or two. And so that's why I was talking about germination testing. If you want to do germination testing, you could take that seed from 5 years ago or 3 years or 2 years. It doesn't mean it's not going to be any good anymore, but it sometimes means that you're only going to get a smaller percentage of germination. And that's why I take 10 seeds, I put it into damp paper towel, I put it into a Ziploc bag and on the counter, and let them germinate. And then out of 10 seeds, for instance, in my lettuce, and this lettuce is about 5 years old now because I seem to keep buying lettuce. This iceberg lettuce that I got from Burpees 5 years ago, it still had 7 out of 10 that germinated. So it's incredible. The sesame seeds, which I collected from my own plants last year, so I'm calling them my 2019. These are the golden sesame. They're an open pollinated type. And if you're open pollinated, that means that they've been in the wind. They haven't been specifically crossed in a laboratory or in a greenhouse. So open pollinated means that you can save the seeds. And that just means that if you save your own seeds, you're going to save money. So the sesame seeds that I got last year, the golden ones, produced a lot of seeds. And I saved some, gave quite a bit away already. And I just did a germination test and 9 out of 10 seeds came up. So that is incredible. But what I was trying to say is if you do save seeds for a long time and you only get 3 out of 10 coming up, you can still use them, but you have to use more seeds. So just try to use up those old seeds. Darlene saying Happy New Year. I usually get my seeds from our local garden center, Top Crop. I know what you mean, Darlene. It's so great to go down to the local garden center. And, you know, in Edmonton, for instance, they have a seed place there that I've gone to that, not that I live in Edmonton, but when I've traveled there, my daughter lives there. It's just incredible. They have every kind of seed right there to look at, and you can read all the seed packets back to back. But there's also something about the catalogs and, I don't know, armchair shopping. I love it. So thanks for that. Yes, Sean Marie said it sounds like cranbrook, and it is cranbrook. So you're right. Okay, Bev said she's having trouble growing good carrots in Medicine Hat. Is there a variety that you can recommend? I'm going to defer to Margot if you're still on, Margot. What is your favorite? Because Margot's in Carbon, Alberta, which isn't, well, they have such good soil in Carbon. Maybe Margot's just not going to be a good one because she's such a good grower. But Bev, I'm going to suggest to you to always focus on the Nantes types. They're the types with the rounded end. Don't go for the fancy, colorful ones or the Imperators, which are super long but pointy because they'll break off. It's kind of dry in Medicine Hat. And carrots are not easy to grow. Carrots are tricky because they can take up to 2 weeks to germinate. Can you imagine? So I have known people, Bev, that have actually pre-germinated their carrot seeds in paper towel like this. This is something I just do to find out what my germination percentage is, but some people pre-germinate their carrot seeds and then plant them out. Otherwise, you do have to put something like a board down on top of your carrots to keep it evenly moist because, as I said, it can take quite a while and it's quite dry in Medicine Hat. So I'm just going to like that. I'm going to encourage you to grow, the Nantes varieties. You know what? I'm going to look right here in my catalog right now because they are shorter and they will shape up. And I also don't plant all my carrots on the same day because if you do that, you end up with maybe you're going to get a dry spell or something like that. So Bev, I would say that your best bet would be to try to, let me see if anybody else has answered that. Oh, Amy's back to us about her arbor. She has an arbor. She figured she shouldn't prune yet, but wanted to catch you before it was too late. So Amy, I hope that helped with the with the grapes. I'm just looking at carrot seeds here to see if there's any new types this year because Bev Duke was asking from Medicine Hat. So you can see here they've got the Imperator types. This is in the William Dam catalog. They've got the Imperator types, which I'm not suggesting. They've got the large types, which I'm not suggesting. I've always loved the Nantes style. There they are. They've got Amsterdam types, and these are for those really good muck soils where people have really nice mucky soils. And these are the Nantes. The Nantes are short, and then the ends are rounded. And with the rounded ends, they're just easier to pull. They're easier to grow. And there's many, many kinds. They have one here called Mokum, which is highly recommended. And I guess it just depends. I've actually grown the Napoli and I've grown the Yaya, which is a funny name. But you'll see that they've split them between ones that you eat early fresh and ones that you put into storage. And so I think that the Nantes carrots, either the early fresh or the storage ones, are going to be the best for you, Bev, in Medicine Hat. And that's how you know. Oh, there you go. Margot did reply. She says, we grow Sweetness variety of carrots, and she thinks they're a Nantes type. So thank you so much, Margot. I don't see them here in this William Dam catalog. I'll see if they're in my Johnny's catalog. Maybe, though, they're in your TNT catalog. So let us know which catalog. This is kind of fun, eh? We get to look back and forth at the different catalogs. So you'll also notice, sorry, back to carrots, because I just saw this in the Johnny's catalog. They also sell pelleted seed. The pelleted seed, the pelleted carrot seeds are supposed to reduce your thinning time, like your time for thinning, because you can just put an automatic seeder. But they're more for commercial growers. I wouldn't spend, I don't think, that much money. Okay, I am not seeing Sweetness in the Johnny's catalog either. So now I am keen to find myself some Sweetness, and we're going to make that your job, Margot. You're going to have to tell us where you got them from. And I love Nantes carrots. I'm glad to see that you're also planting Nantes. I'm not seeing. See if I can find some in my West Coast. That's the other catalog I like, is the West Coast, and that's the one that I found the sesame seeds in. What I don't like about West Coast is that they don't give you very many seeds. I know. Sorry, I should have complained to the company instead of complaining to all of you. But their prices are really high. I've actually done a direct comparison between the cost of seeds in my William Dam and my West Coast, and they're about half the price in the Going Down catalog. So not seeing the kinds of carrots we're looking for, but doesn't really matter. I'll see one more look. Carrots, Scarlet 90s, Little Fingers, Napoli. Nope, not seeing sweetness, but maybe Margot will get back to us. See, you think you're just going to be hanging out there, listening, paying attention, having fun. And in fact, you're being given an assignment. So love to hear back from you on that. What about carrots in containers? Sean Marie's asking about carrots in containers. Mine turn out fabulous, and I do pre-germinate sometimes, as Donna said. I actually first saw carrots grown in containers in Wales. They said they didn't have the deep soil, and because carrots need really organic soil, I have also been growing them in the root bags. I don't know if you're familiar with root bags, but that works for me. Sean, what kind of containers are you growing them in? Uh-oh. Bev Duke says, thanks, I've tried all the types. I think maybe the pre-germinating might be the trick. Well, that's good. So Bev actually has gotten back to us that she has already tried all these types. So we've been on and on and on, and there was no point to that. But we're all now knowing that Margot has been trying the sweetness types. I think, you know what would be fun? It would be really fun if we all grew one thing the same. What could that be? We should all grow one thing, no matter where we're growing, whether it's Medicine Hat or Edmonton or Ontario. Amy's in Ontario, or here, my garden's on the coast. That would be fun. Why don't we all grow one thing the same? Why don't we try to find, maybe I'll try to find that sweetness carrot, if anyone's up for the sweetness carrot challenge. Or we could try to do one tomato. I actually saved all my tomato seeds. Where are they? Because as I was saying, I use up all my tomato seeds every year. I never, ever have any leftover tomatoes. So here they are. Oh, here's something I'm not going to grow this year, just in case you forget my comments from last year. This is the Flame Star cauliflower. This was an amazing, huge cauliflower. It was at least 8 inches across. It was tight, orange colored, so really pretty. You don't have to put cheddar cheese. You can put white cheddar on it. They grew really uniformly. They were bug free. They were just perfect. So I am never growing these again. And you're wondering, what's wrong with Dawn? Everything looks and sounds so good. I'm not growing them again because they didn't store. I picked them and put them in bags in the fridge, and they started to smell funny, like almost right away, because who can eat 19 cauliflowers on the same day? I gave quite a few away, but the 5 or 6 that I kept, there was a funny smell. And once they were ready in the garden, they were ready that day. So Flame Star, going out for me. I had grown the variety called cheddar before, but Flame Star sounded like it had replaced cheddar. It's the orange cauliflower, and I'm just not going to do that anymore. But anyway, I was looking for tomato seeds. I was wanting to throw out there that we all grow the same types of tomatoes, and I have not ordered any tomatoes yet. So let's talk about tomatoes. Last year I had Hamlet, and I had Sun Gold, and I had Tasmanian Chocolate, and Juliet. These are all gone now. I've used all these seeds. Damsel, which was supposed to be an Damsel was supposed to be a pink tomato, which apparently is quite popular in Quebec, but I did not like them. Purple Bumblebee. I have to stop on that for a minute. That was amazing. A little cherry tomato with really pretty growth. And I think that was it. Those are the tomatoes I grew last year, so I'd love to know what you're growing this year. And if you're growing tomatoes, I know we still have lots of time to start them. My sister called me yesterday because she knows she doesn't have to follow along on Facebook. She can just call me. And she said she always orders from Vesey Seeds, which Vesey's is Veseys, which are in PEI. And I visited their it's not a factory, it's a farm. I visited their farm, and it's a beautiful farm, but they're the ones that always send treated seeds. And she said every time she orders too late, and then they say back order because they don't seem to have the production that some of the other places have. So I thought that was neat. Lots more questions. Jean Marie is saying it helps to keep the soil moist. Now she's back to carrots. I never add sand because I have straight sand. What carrots really need is lots of organic matter. And what I've done here, because I have so much sand, is I've done a hugelkultur, which is piles of branches, and so the carrots grow down, they get crooked. So I do have to grow mine in containers. Nancy Jenkins is back. She says, still brown and green here in Medicine Hat. Trimmed some trees, which is easier to use to get small cottonwood trim. Which is easier? Oh, she's wondering, axe. Well, it depends how strong you are. If you've got a nice handsaws, just by their nature, if you can get the one with the pull and the push action, you're cutting in both directions. So I think it's going to be a little bit easier than getting an axe to take that out. So I would say, Nancy, I would use a saw. The trouble is you do have to keep using them. Jean-Marie, back to carrots again, uses half barrels and spaces them accordingly. I wonder if you also try, Jean-Marie, I'm just going to ask you here, have you also tried the pelleted seeds? Because I noticed that some of the places are selling them, and that would sure make it a lot easier if you are, I think that would just make it a lot easier, but they are quite a bit more expensive. Whoops, I see I've had lots of questions. Oh, haven't been paying attention. Nancy Jenkins wants to grow the rainbow carrots. Has anyone liked the rainbow carrots? I was walking with my grandson down the back alley one day, and he had brought a carrot from home, and he was wiping it on his pants, and he was eating it, and he only took one bite, and he threw it in the alley. And I said, Cohen, you can't throw that carrot in the ground. That's a carrot your mom's grown for you. You have to eat that. And he said, it tastes yucky. And I said, really? It's a beautiful black carrot. This was grown in Calgary. So I pulled it off the ground. I wiped it off on my jeans. I took a bite of it, and I also threw it on the ground. So some types of the colored carrots are good, and you'll buy some, especially the baby ones, the ones that are picked small, but they're not all good. So don't be thinking that they're all going to be tasty. Oh, there you go. Margot Baldwin said, see, if we hang around long enough, Margot said that the sweetness carrots are from the T&T and the Lindenberg catalogs. So you can say I'm going to have to look online. I don't want people to be discouraged. If you don't have the catalog, if you don't have the paper catalog, you can still look online. You can see the lists of the other gardeners here that have grown the different types. Bev, for instance, might want to try sweetness. I'm going to try them. I think it's a good idea. And we can get them from the Lindenberg. Jean-Marie says she also grows them, and she gets them every season from Mackenzie Seeds, and Mackenzie also sells pelleted seeds, so that's great. Wow, Monty Shin has joined, and Monty is a Brumansia expert, so sometime we'll do something on Brumansia, but I am not an expert on that. These are the tall, beautiful, white flowering perennial. Well, they're not perennials, they're tender tropicals. Margot was asking for a tomato variety, heirloom or bush type cherry tomato. No, I do not know a bush type cherry tomato because I love growing. I'm just going to look at my catalog though. I absolutely love growing the climbing ones. So I've gone completely out. That seems kind of dumb. I should know everything, but I don't. And so when it comes to bush type, I don't have a favorite one, but maybe if I look in my little book here, I'm looking in my William Dam because that is always my favorites. Early cluster, medium fruited. I know what you mean. It is handy to have a bush type. Oh, Soderno is a patio type. Oh, Tiny Tim. They're still selling Tiny Tim. So I'm just looking, Margot, for your information in my William Dam catalog, and they're still selling Tiny Tim. That's been 30 or 40 years that I've seen Tiny Tim. I don't find them very sweet. I guess I've really gotten spoiled with the bumblebee, and I love these purple bumblebee. I won a prize at the fair last year with these, but they aren't a patio type. So you are looking for patio type. I would say that the Tiny Tims, I've also seen the Sodernos, and I've tried the Sodernos, and I can't honestly remember. It lists them as their best tasting early bush tomato. So that is out of William Dam Seeds, and I know I've tried them, but obviously they didn't make a big impact because I haven't ordered them yet. But I should try some because people are always looking for that if you're in a really small space. Because now I'm growing most of my tomatoes in my greenhouse, I like to have ones that grow right up tall. So I would say that, I'd say Soderno, but I haven't personally, Soderno. I don't personally remember them being that tasty, but they are listed as the tastiest. So They're in the William Dam catalog. I don't know why my dog's barking now, so probably almost time to go. We just finished that one. I'll go back to that. Wow. You guys have been so great today. We were all just missing each other, weren't we? It was a long, fun holiday, but it's over now. Oh, she wants to see the cover of the William Dam catalog. Sorry, Bev. William Dam seeds are the untreated seeds. They're also organic. And I used to think it was okay if you didn't buy organic as long as you were growing organically, but now I'm realizing, my son has told me about epigenetics, that everything changes a little bit in our genetics and in plant genetics over time. And so any plant that's been grown organically, first of all, it helps the soils on the farms. And secondly, it also helps, probably helps the plant. So I'm believing now that it is better to grow organically and to buy organic seeds. The William, thanks for asking for that. Just did that. And Sean has said the purple carrot can be unpredictable and ruin your crock pot meal. So there you go. My grandson Cohen didn't like them, and Sean doesn't like them. I put some in with the roast and everything turned purple and the flavor was not fabulous. So I guess we're just warning you, Nancy, if you're going to grow purple carrots, you got to come here first and find out, are there any heirloom types? I want to save my own seeds, so no hybrids. That's where the Tiny Tim, I think, came in. And they've still got that. I think Margot's still asking about a bush-style tomato. And I've lost that page. But if you're wanting to save your own seeds with tomatoes and you've only grown hybrids, you know the trouble is they're not going to taste anything like the ones. So I'll keep looking at that, Margot. I'll look through my other catalogs. But it doesn't say, can be grown in pots or winter boxes. It does not say if Tiny Tim is an open pollinated type or if it is a... doesn't say. So I'll look up some more things and see if I can find any more dwarf varieties that would be good and get back to you on that. Okay, so I think that's it. We've actually gone over the half an hour, which is very unusual. It was just really fun getting together with you guys this week. So we're going to try it again next week. I'm going to just tell you all that if you know anyone that's a student or that is just trying to change careers in horticulture and wants to spend some time gardening, this is something I dreamed of doing when I was younger, and I had kids when I was young, so I never got to do it. But if there's anyone that you know that's younger that wants to work with the horticulturist, that's me. I've just posted it here on my Facebook page that I'm going to have, I think 2 or 3 weeks. I picked, I'm going to have 1 or 2 students at most. They have to be someone that's got a real interest, not just waking up in the morning. I think gardening's interesting, but someone that really wants to learn and wants and is able to and willing to work. Because I've got weeding, we're going to build another hugelkultur bed. We've got pruning, we're going to do that pruning of our grapes. We've got kiwis to prune, raspberries to prune, apples. So it seems like it's just a backyard, but it's actually a really big backyard. It was my daughter's idea that I get a woofer, which is the Worldwide Organic Farmers. And instead of that, she said, well, why don't you just have someone come and stay at your house and work with you? So I've just posted that. If anyone knows anyone, please forward it to those. It doesn't have to be a young person. I'm just saying that because students are often young, but it could be anyone that's choosing to change careers, taking a permaculture course or horticulture, anyone that just wants to work for a week. It's only 4 hours a day because honestly, I have to work on my computer in the afternoons and working on projects. Oh, do you see my project here? Ta-da! This is I'm trying to think of a course that I'm going to run. So I'm going to put that in my newsletter. I'll be sending that newsletter out next week. I think I haven't written it yet, obviously. But stay tuned. And thank you so much for joining me today. It was so much fun. I'm sure there'll be more questions coming. Bye for now.